Thank you, Lasker Hirlock, and can I welcome Minister Collins to the House and thank him for taking this matter. Can I say that, like you and indeed everyone else, we're never quite sure how to pronounce the name of this drug, but it is, my best shot at it is Duodopa, but that's the only flippant thing I'll say, otherwise it's a very serious matter. Duodopa is a pump-based system that infuses a liquid form of Parkinson's medication, levodopa being that liquid, to provide a more consistent relief of symptoms on a minute-by-minute basis. It is very effective, and there are about 100 patients in Ireland who would benefit from it. Patients will typically claw back, as a result, 3 to 4 hours a day normal function, which were previously lost due to immobility. There is no question as to its clinical benefit. It is generally used in patients who have the most significant disability and therefore have most to gain from its use. It's worth noting that without it, these people are housebound, they're reliant on carers, and all of that presents both them and the state with a cost that has to be factored in when you do an assessment of the cost. To put it in numbers, as I said, it's 100 out of 10,000 Parkinson's sufferers in Ireland, or 1%. But for those 100 people, it's the difference between some form of quality of life and none, basically. It's everything to them. It's the lottery to them, it's life to them, it's any quality of life. It's life to their families around them, to their carers, to everybody concerned in their life and their loved ones. So it's critical in those 100 cases. So we're talking about 100 individuals rather than any statistics. The National Centre for Pharmacoeconomics found it cost-effective at a cost of 30,000 per year, but this scrutinising body deemed it cost-effective. It will be transformative for those who get it. A separate but related matter is the development of the National Deep Brain Stimulation Service in the Mater and Beaumont. Deep brain stimulation is a surgical treatment for Parkinson's disease, which is an alternative to Duodopa and is relevant to about 5% of patients. So here we're talking 500. Traditionally, people have gone to UK for it, hardly satisfactory in a COVID context or in any context. Professor Tim Lynch in the Mater and Dr. Richard Walsh in Beaumont and Miss Catherine Moore in the Mater and Beaumont, and indeed a very, very nice, helpful individual, a nurse there, Katrina, that I had a conversation with as well. I apologise that I don't have her second name here, but Katrina is extraordinarily helpful and committed to that cause. But all of those people are working to see there's about 50 patients waiting for surgery, and they hope to get the first deep brain, they hope to get the first deep brain stimulation in Beaumont this year. A business case has gone, Minister, for this to the HSE for funding. The Minister for Health allocated 50 million for new therapies in the budget, specifically. Now, he mentions in his remarks then Parkinson's very specifically, and Duodopa and deep brain stimulation are very central to all of this. So I look forward to the Minister's reply. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator O'Reilly. Minister Collins, you have 4 minutes.
Thanks, Chair. I wish to thank the Senator for raising this issue today and for giving me, on behalf of the Minister for Health, the opportunity to clarify the position on the availability of this product, levodopa carbidopa intestinal gel, known as Duodopa, for patients with advanced Parkinson's disease. As the Senator may know, the HSE has been given statutory responsibility for medicine pricing and reimbursement decisions under the Health Pricing and Supply of Medical Goods Act of 2013. The Act specifies certain criteria for decisions on whether the state will reimburse medicines. The Minister for Health has no role in this statutory responsibility. HSE decisions on which medicines are reimbursed by the taxpayer are made on objective, scientific and economic grounds, including on the advice of the National Centre of Pharmacoeconomics. That's the NCPA. The NCPA conducts assessments on behalf of the HSE and then makes recommendations on reimbursement to assist the HSE in its decision-making. The HSE strives to reach a decision on drug reimbursement in as timely a manner as possible. However, because of the significant monies involved, it must ensure that the best price is achieved, often leading to a protracted, deliberative process. Under an interim agreement between the HSE and the manufacturer, which dated back to 2014, the HSE agreed to fund this drug for up to 81 patients. The manufacturer agreed to fund the treatment of any new patients above the cap of 81 patients through a medical access programme. However, the HSE was informed in 2019 that the manufacturer had unilaterally set aside this agreement. The manufacturer agreed that it would continue to provide the drug free of charge to patients already on the access programme, but that it could not be enrolling any new patients in the free of charge access programme after the 30th of April 2019. On the 14th of June 2019, the NCPA completed an assessment of Duopa for patients with advanced Parkinson's disease and recommended that it should not be considered for reimbursement unless its cost-effectiveness could be improved compared to other existing treatments. This recommendation is available to view on the NCPA-PE website. Following this recommendation, the HSE entered into lengthy pricing negotiations with the manufacturer. When these concluded, the reimbursement of Duopa was formally considered by the HSE Drugs Group over 2 meetings, the second of which was held in February of 2020. At this time, the Drugs Group made a positive recommendation for reimbursement to the HSE Executive Management Team. This was in the context of the recognised unmet need, the clinical evidence, the cost-effectiveness evidence and resources available to the HSE. It is important to note that Duodopa is currently only one of the medicines with a significant budget impact awaiting decision by the HSE Executive Management Team. The HSE has yet to make a final decision on the specific reimbursement application and the statutory process is still ongoing. However, I am happy to report to the House that €50 million has been allocated to the HSE in budget 2021 to enable the approval of new medicines.
Senator O'Reilly, you now have 1 minute to respond. Thank you.
Thank you, Lasker Hirlock. Thank you, Minister. I'm encouraged by one paragraph here, completely encouraged by this. It says, at this time, the Drugs Group made a positive recommendation for reimbursement to the HSE Executive Management Team. This was in the context of the recognised unmet need, the clinical evidence and the cost-effectiveness evidence and the resource available to the HSE. That was in February 2020. I'd asked the Minister if he could arrange through the department if I could get a note specific to that. That recommendation is there now. When would that be implemented? When will the Duodopa become available to patients? And I'd also asked the Minister if he would, in that context as well, get me a brief on deep brain stimulation as a parallel treatment and a parallel treatment for another 5%. So I look forward to the Minister's response. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Senator. Minister, you have
Okay, thanks, Senator. And I will ask the department and the HSE to follow up on the requests that you have made there. And just to say that we appreciate Parkinson's disease is a debilitating condition and that fully acknowledge that it is a worrying time for patients, families and carers, as you've outlined in your own remarks. I hope that the final decision on this reimbursement application comes to a conclusion shortly for all concerned, but it is important to note that the HSE is the decision-making body on the reimbursement of medicines under the 2013 Health Act. The Senator will be aware, as I've already said, that the Government has provided 50 million for new medicines in 2021, and it is anticipated that this new funding will enable the HSE to improve a significant number of new medicines this year.